Good afternoon and welcome everyone. My name is Anthony with the Account Implementation Team at the Mark Travel Corporation. Today we're going to be talking about our groups programs as well as Price Match Plus. So in order to go check all this information out, we're going to first jump into a different section of VAX, and that is through the vacation packages in the supplier showcase. And then we'll scroll down a little bit here and go into the Mark Travel Corporation. We're going to highlight a couple of things on the page here, and they are down at the bottom. Again, we'll talk about Price Match in just a moment. I want to give you a little bit of preliminary information about the two different groups programs that we have, and then we'll give you everything in greater detail a little bit later on. But we do have two programs, and they are Groups Your Way and traditional or contracted groups. Now, traditional or contracted groups is just as it sounds. There's a contract and specific information and payment dates and dollar amounts and all that kind of stuff. That's part of that. It's very structured, and there's a lot that everybody knows well in advance. Groups Your Way is a much more casual kind of groups program where it's the application of promo codes onto bookings that you build in the reservation system just like you would any other. The stipulation is everybody's going to the same hotel around the same time frame. Groups Your Way has a 5-room minimum, traditional or contracted groups 10-room minimum. As you can see here, FunJet Vacations participates in both of those programs, so when we go through and demonstrate those particular programs, we'll spend all of our time in FunJet Vacations because they do offer both. Now down a little bit further, you can see that United Vacations, one of the other brands under Mark Travel Corporation, participates only in the Groups Your Way program. Blue Sky Tours, another brand of the Mark Travel Corporation, participates only in traditional or contracted groups. Now, fourth and final brand, Southwest Vacations, is not included in this because they choose at this time not to be involved in a formal groups program. However, the word is that they're looking to get involved in the Groups Your Way program as part of their reservation system, and it's possible by the end of this year that would come to fruition. So let's jump into FunJet Vacations. Now we had talked, we'll go back to the VAX main page just to kind of demonstrate this. In previous webinars we had talked about utilizing the booking system and going in and booking a new reservation through the button up at the top of the screen or perhaps off on the left-hand side. But we always recommend going into the individual agent page, so the actual store location for that particular vacation package company. And that's what we're going to do today. We're going to go into FunJet Vacations here. And then from here, we're going to spend our time in Travel Info. So Travel Info gives us a lot of really great information. So you see information about flights, group travel, of course we'll be talking about different payment plans that are offered, travel protection that we talked about before as well. And now we definitely want to talk about Price Match Plus. On here, what happens is once you open the page, it will immediately begin rolling this short video to kind of summarize the program and the processes involved in utilizing the Price Match Plus program. Okay, so we're not going to go through that right now. Obviously, it's something as someone who has access to VAX, you could certainly go in and check it out for yourself. It's probably only about 3-4 minutes long. But what we'll do is we'll talk about the individual pieces of the Price Match program. Essentially what you need to do is build a FunJet Vacations reservation and via your email submit a request for a price match. So I'm going to show you what was submitted a few months back for our example. Okay, so you'd open up your email, and in the email subject line you would indicate the FunJet Vacations reservation that you built. All right. Now you're going to then submit in the body of the email the competitor's screenshots. So you're going to show all of the information of the individual components and the pricing of those components as it compares to what you see on their website. So these are actual screenshots. And you can also see it's important to make sure that you're including the date and timestamp from your actual computer screen. Okay. This validates the fact that you built this information from the competitor the same day that you built your Fun Jet Vacations reservation. All right. So not only do the components have to match, but the date in which the reservations were built has to match. All right. So you can't take a coupon and apply it to a transaction 2 weeks ago, or expect to get the expired sailed items and things like that. Okay. No different here. They all have to match, because pricing and availability and all of that kind of stuff can change so much, even the same business day. But you definitely want to make sure that your FunJet reservation as well as your competitor's information match on the same day. So here we'll see a series of 4 screenshots, and the first one is the outbound flights on Delta. The second are the return flights on Delta. And then the third one shows our hotel information, so the actual hotel, the room category information about the room and whatnot, and then the final breakdown of the pricing that you see right here. Okay, you don't have to actually complete the booking necessarily, but you're getting it to the point where you see a total amount of air and hotel. All right, so we can see that this was produced through Expedia. We see that right down here, and there'll be some additional information on what that means to the whole process as well. Okay, so our price match is basically matching the hotel and air portion of the reservation. It has nothing to do with the transfers. No promo codes can be included, no travel insurance or anything of that nature. So those are all extras, and they can be very different from company to company. Thus the reason why they are not part of the price match. So when you send that in to the price match team, you'll then get what we would call a bounce back email. And it's just basically telling you that they will respond to your request within approximately 3 business hours. Their hours of operation are here Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Central Time, because we are located, our home office in Milwaukee. If you need assistance on any kind of price match or questions about it outside of those normal business hours, you're going to need to contact the customer care team at the number you see here. Okay, so all of this is an exact email that will come back to you after submitting the price match. Usually it takes about a minute or so, and you'd receive that back. Okay, so on to the rest of this, and they respond back, and what we got on this is we got an approval. All right, so it tells us here that this is approved and the reservation will be adjusted. So it shows the dollar amount that it started at with the FunJet reservation, and now we're adjusting it down to this because that's what Expedia is showing. Okay, it does also state excluding travel insurance. This particular reservation will be capped at 10%, and that is because it is through Expedia. All right, I'll explain that in just a minute. All right, now this request for the price match to be done and the adjustment to be taken care of does need to go through our accounting department. So there's a little bit of a separation of duties as far as that goes. So just so that you're aware, it's not necessarily immediate, but it will be done on that same day. What's very important for you to read and understand is the section that's listed right here. Please note that competitive match price adjustments will be removed should any modification be made to the hotel component of the reservation, a promo code added, or a flight change made. This basically is telling you that don't make any changes to these parts of the reservation, because then it doesn't match. Okay, so it's important that you don't do those things. You can add excursions, you can add transfers, you can go in and add the travel protection to the reservation if you want to, but you can't touch any part of the hotel, you can't touch the flights in any way, and you can't add a promo code that's typically linked to the hotel in some way, shape, or form as well. Okay, so if you got a promo code, you need to decide whether it makes more sense to do the price match or add the promo code. If you do something like that, it's going to automatically remove that price adjustment amount. Okay, so basically that's the process. It's that simple. You build that reservation and send in the screenshots to validate that price you see. Now, we want to go over which entities we do actually match. So as you can see here, all standard tour operators, and they still include Apple, GoGo, Delta, and so on. And we will offer the full commission percentage even if the competitor is capping theirs. Okay. Same thing with the Hotel Direct, Barcelo, Riu, Disney, full commission amount even if the competitor is capping theirs. The difference is in our online travel agencies. So OTAs are referred to many times. Expedia, obviously in our example, Travelocity, Orbitz, and so on, the commission is capped at 10%. Okay, now we do that. Many tour operators don't even match online travel agencies, and their pricing structure and how they do business is very different from us. So the commission is different as well. Now, we, again, are going to bring in the other more travel brands. So this is important because we will match United Vacations, Southwest Vacations, and Blue Sky Tours because we can build similar packages on those brands as well. So just look at all of the details on that and make sure you understand how that process will work. Okay. There's a couple of additional details as you scroll down in this particular section, but you're going to note the email address, and that's located right here. Okay, so this is where you start the process, and that's exactly who you would contact if you have any questions about a future possible price match or what have you. All right. If you need help on how to actually do a screenshot properly, the instructions are right here. Okay, they are in Mac as well as PC instructions, so definitely really good detailed information. Again, that customer care contact number is listed here for any time that you call outside of the CompMatch department's hours. What I'm going to do is I'm going to quick bring up a reservation that I created earlier in regards to a different webinar, but I want to show you something on here because of the fact that it is very relevant to what we're talking about. Oops, I'm just going to try that again. 82G0J. All right, so this particular reservation was just built in regards to a demo I was doing earlier, and I definitely want to point out some things on here for you. So the price match requires you to build a FunJet Vacations reservation. Okay. Now, the easiest thing to do is once you have that FunJet Vacations reservation built, you simply look here and the actual price match button appears at the top of the reservation. So you just simply click on it, click on the email address, and enter your screenshots. Put your reservation number in here so they have that as comparison, and away you go. Okay, so you definitely know that the process is quite easy and happens rather quickly. So definitely utilize these buttons in here. Again, refund request, payment request are in there too. So a good piece of information, and then that's right in the forefront of your mind. You don't need to jump around to different pages within the booking system either. All right, so let's jump into group travel. So let's go into Group Chouet first and talk about the promo code usage. Now, again, as I had mentioned, it's the application of promo codes onto bookings that you build, just people going to the same place, same date range. Okay, again, minimum of 5 rooms in order to do this. And in the booking system, I'm just going to show you, when you get the promo code, you can build it by putting the promo code right in on the beginning part of the search. Now, note that you don't have to put the promo code in when you build the reservation. You don't have to apply it right away. The time frame for which you do need to apply it by, however, is 35 days from departure. So no, you can't do it 10 days before, the day before, 35 days, no less. All right, so that's still plenty of time, however, to utilize that. Many times people are getting these promo codes kind of after the fact. They just kind of stumble across the fact that they have 8 different couples that are going to the same location, well, I might as well get a promo code. Well, how do you do that? Well, under travel info, you go to Groups Your Way, and then you just go right here where it says request promo code. You're going to fill in the information it's asking for, provide some maybe details on it, and click submit. In about 8 hours, you'd get the actual promo code for you to use on the reservations. So it's that simple. You can apply the promo code as you're building it. You can apply it before payment, after payment, all of that kind of good stuff. Okay, so it's a very simple program to use. It's one of the only promo codes that you can add at pretty much any time. But again, there's that 35-day cutoff, so remember that. Also remember, the discount is up to $225 with that promo code, but you have to make sure that you're using the bonus hotels. Okay, now there are many, many of them, so don't get concerned that you're going to pick a hotel that might be out of it. So definitely get into this page, click on View Offers, and find out what those hotels are. So if you already know which hotel they're going to, you want to come in here. It'll take a moment or two for it to load. And find it on the list of hotels. Now just bring that up. We're going to enlarge this just a little bit, just so that we can see maybe a little bit better. That's still too small. 65, let's try that. Okay, so the font's a little bit bigger, makes it easier to read, but you can see the different hotels based upon their destination, so you can narrow this down and just say maybe you just want Cancun hotels. So you do that. You can even choose your chain if you want, just to maybe just show the Excellence properties. So you unselect all and click on Excellence. And those are the only properties that you'll see. So you see the Finest Playa Mujeres, part of the Excellence chain, and you see what you get. 1 room upgrade to the next room category for every 10 rooms fully paid. All right, 4 max, 3-night minimum stay. All of that is listed right in here, so you know exactly what they're going to get. Okay, this is in addition to the reduction on the reservation. So these are extras that come along with it. So that's why it's really important for you to come in and check this out, so you know that the Finest Playa Mujeres in Cancun does give you the full discount and a bunch of these extra pieces as well. Anytime you make changes, I'm going to X out of this. Make sure you click on Don't Save, because otherwise it's just going to save that one portion of it, and you don't want to do that. But again, that's available to you. Check it out. It's a very easy way to get involved in groups, just to kind of get the feel for how large numbers of people are going to function and that kind of thing. Now, if we want to go and talk about contracted groups, this is important because this can be a very easy, well, I don't know if I want to use the word easy, but it definitely a way to kind of build sales within your organization. So it can be very lucrative to you. This requires 10 rooms as the minimum. Okay, so you just know that we offer these programs specifically. I wouldn't say always. It's just all weddings, but that's the bulk of the business comes through contracted groups as far as weddings is concerned. So if you want to request a quote and kind of get the process started and see what you might be able to get, all that you need to do is click right here where it says request a quote. Just kind of switch over to traditional groups. It'll take a moment, and as you can see, it's asking for a lot of the same information that we needed to submit for the promo code. Well, and then in addition to that, once you get that information back, it usually takes no more than about 24 hours, maybe sometimes a little bit longer, but there's a lot that goes into it. So we have some really great dashboard enhancements that are coming up. So if you want to, you can just simply click here and get some additional information. You can see how all of the different groups parts function. You can see the room reservations and all of that. So this is sample shots of the actual dashboard for a group, and I'll show you a sample one that we can see the functionality of that much more easily. So we're going to jump over to that in just a second, but before we do that, I want to show you what a quote would look like. All right. So as we can see here, I'm just going to enlarge this just a bit. See it a little better. Go. There we go. We can see who it's prepared for and by. We can see which hotel, in this case it's the Rio Caribe, and we're asking for a total of 30 rooms. Don't be concerned with the total number of passengers at this particular property because they offer single occupancy as well. Some, not necessarily the case. In this case, they're just kind of assuming it's 2 people per room, but it's not required. All right. So we can see here 3 different room categories: Ocean View, Junior Suite Ocean View, and Junior Suite Ocean Front. Breaks it down by the number of nights staying, single, double, or triple occupancy, and even includes a child rate. All right. So if you have 2 people who want the Junior Suite Ocean View room, and that's a double occupancy, obviously, and they want to stay for 9 nights, each person there will pay $1,593.77 as part of their hotel reservation, okay? Regardless of when it's booked. So day 1, someone comes to you and says, 2 of us, 9 nights, Junior Suite Ocean View, boom. They know exactly how much they're paying for the hotel portion. Whether or not air is included on that can be determined as you move along. They can use their own points or miles or whatever it is to book their own air if they want to. And then let's say, because groups typically are booked well in advance, typically no less than a year, if someone comes to you 6 months later and they want the same exact deal. It's 2 people, they want the Junior Suite Ocean View, and they want to stay 9 nights. Well, if that room's available, they're going to pay the exact same dollar amount. Okay, so that's where the real benefit of contracted groups comes in. That pricing is nailed down, and you have no surprises. Okay, so just know that that's going to make life a lot easier for you as well as the clients. And that's why a lot of weddings do that kind of group, because then it's much easier for them and their guests to know exactly what to expect. There'll be other room categories that are built in as automatic deviations, okay? So what that means is they'll include off the record, kind of behind the scenes kind of action, 2 or 3 other room categories that are typical for people to try to book that are outside of the inventory, okay? So if it's like a presidential suite or, you know, something with a rooftop terrace or something like that, that is going to be able to make it much easier to book those rooms that aren't in the normal allotment, and less time consuming as well if needed. So always know that there's always going to be some deviations that are built in behind the scenes. You'll also see some of the group hotel amenities, some of the hotel policies regarding attrition and cancellation. And then of course, if you have any questions on the quote or want to move forward to contract, you simply respond to the email from which the quote came from, because that person is now kind of running the show with you on this particular group. Okay, so we like everything we see. Let's do a contract. All right, so about typically no more than 24 hours you would get this back, and honestly it's working a lot faster than that because they have so many things that are streamlined that the dashboard allows them to build these kinds of things rather immediately. Okay, so you'll see your agent's name. Obviously it isn't going to be Agent Awesome, but you can see their name so you know exactly who you're dealing with on your particular contracted group, and their direct email. Now that's important because each individual person, like each individual agent that might be listed here, is part of a larger group of people. So they operate in pods, and if this agent happens to be away from their desk for an extended period of time, is off for the day, is on vacation, whatever, their emails will roll into that pod so that the other people within the group can assist while they're away. All right, so a lot less issues have fallen off, and there's been a lot better turnaround as far as making changes and whatnot. But you can see the same inventory information is listed here, just in a slightly different format. And then we'll scroll down a little bit further here to get some pertinent information as well. Here is our group ID. This allows us access to the dashboard once it's created. And then here's our payment or parent reservation. Okay, so all money typically is funneled through there as far as deposits and whatnot for the contracted group. You can see deposit amounts, payment dates, all that good stuff. Mail-in payment address located there. And then the group amenities are going to be listed down below here so that you can see specifically what each party might be getting. You'll see down here also some attrition and penalties in regards to the hotel and any associated with air that you might factor in. You can do charter air as well as scheduled air on them. And then of course the I agree and accept section with your signatures and so on here. But of course, don't forget to read the terms and conditions. Make sure we understand everything that's involved in this before moving forward. Do know that even if you get to this point and things just don't seem right, the group's not really into the contract, whether it's at this stage or even before that with the quote, you can just kind of, just let things go and, not go forward. But do know once the signed contract is returned, we're kind of moving forward with it. You can cancel it, just be sure of all of the cancellation policies and penalties that might go along with doing that. There's a certain window that you can do that in. All right, so now we return it. We've got it signed. Everything looks great. The group's all excited. And we are going to get an email from our group's representative reminding us what our group ID is, and we can go into the dashboard and begin building our reservations for the travelers. So you go into FunJet and you come down here to groups, and then you enter the group ID. So you enter that information and retrieve group, just to make sure that those listening understand that this is actually a training dashboard, so it's not a real actual reservation or whatnot. So we're able to utilize this to demo it for you. All right, so you'll see the name of the group up at the top. You'll see the actual 1-800 number for the groups department, our hotel that we're utilizing with an active link to the profile, your service agent that's been assigned to you specifically, and then over on the right-hand side is your booking tool, okay? So anytime someone wants to be part of this particular party, you need to come into the dashboard for that particular group or party and build the individual travelers' reservations here, okay? If you don't go in here and build it, you're not going to participate in the pricing or benefits or anything that goes along with this contracted group. Down a little bit further, you'll see a series of tabs: reservations, inventory, commission, and payments. So as we come down here, you'll see under the reservations tab, our parent or payment reservation, which is where you'll funnel your deposits through, or you can put payment into there that can be filtered out to other child reservations. Say, for instance, someone wants to pay $500 on 2 reservations. Instead of going into each individual one and running a $500 transaction, you go into the payment reservation, make a payment for $1,000, and then go into the payment transfer section and fill in $500 in each one of these. Click continue, and it moves it from here to here. All right, so then there's one credit card transaction that you need to keep track of, and then the client only sees that one credit card transaction rather than 2, 3, or 4, whatever the case is. All right, so we can see that all of the active reservations here. You can see all of the canceled reservations as well. You see a lot of these because, again, this is a demo and we do that quite often. And then we can export all of this to an Excel spreadsheet so that we can have access to the information outside of the actual VAX system and dashboard. Up towards the top again, we're going to talk about the inventory tab here, so you can see the different room categories that have been sold for those 2 reservations, and then the running total of what is left over, along with any charter flight inventory that might be available or used. Up here under commission, we can see the commission amount for each individual reservation and its running total. And this is specific just to the individual reservations, nothing in here as far as bonus commission for additional room categories. But that can be covered with your contracted group's representative. And again, the payment transfers tab here showing how to move money from the payment reservation down to the individual ones. Okay, so under the reservations tab, let's go here really quick. You can see that you can send out a payment request link directly from the main page. This payment request link is also found in the body of the physical reservation. And this allows you to send the payment request link via email to the client. And they utilize the link that is in the body of the email, which is right down in here, access their reservation, make a payment, and this link is valid for 24 hours. Okay, when they access the reservation, all they can do is make a payment. They can't do anything else. They can't make any changes or cancel or anything. My recommendation is anytime you're sending anything like this, make sure you add yourself as a recipient so that you have validation that you did in fact send that out to the clients. Okay, again, if it expires, so if they go beyond 24 hours, you'll just have to go back in and send a different link. All right, so that's kind of a cool way to keep yourself out of the whole credit card. I gave you my number and all of this kind of stuff to avoid any entanglements with that. Now, let's go in and actually build a reservation. We have 2 of them thus far, but we want to take a look at how to build a reservation. So we're going to build a hotel only in this case, or we can build it with air. It depends on what is best for the clients. We'll do it hotel only. We do have to put departure city in many times, but that's not a big deal. We'll go down and do Atlanta. Destination, obviously, is Cancun. Number of nights, I'm going to go 6. 1 room, still children. They also want travel protection on up front. So we'll click on search just to kind of fill you in. Each individual reservation has its own kind of guidelines to it. So it doesn't matter if it's hotel only, if it's air and hotel. They can choose to have the all-in-one on it. They can choose to have special transportation or do things off property or whatever. It doesn't matter. Okay, what does have to happen is they all have to stay at the Rio Caribe. Okay, so now they have the ocean view room. We're just going to leave that as is. They want to do something different with their transportation, so we're going to click on edit. They want something a little bit nicer, so we're going to wait for that to load in. And right here we can see that we have the all-in-one travel protection, which is totally fine. And this is the basic transportation that they have. So we're going to remove that. And go down a bit further. And they want the private deluxe transportation up to 4 people. So that means you could note it and have maybe another couple with them too if need be. Just click on add to cart. Alright, and that is added on. And now they want to do something off-site. So we're going to include water activities and so on. Let's see, what do we want to add for them? Let's see. They want to do the snorkeling tour. So add that on. We'll go back up to the top and click on checkout. Alright, so we see we had indicated that we just wanted hotel on this, no air. So we've got our hotel, the room category they're staying in, our off-site excursion is listed here, deluxe transportation. They do have travel protection on it. And as you can see, it's a lesser price because it is hotel only. And now we can fill in their names and dates of birth to get an actual reservation. Number, and the primary number should always be the travel agent. Traveler 2 is okay. So as you can see, the date of birth is missing because that only pertains to the air portion. The flight number, and this is for the transportation, so they know exactly what time to expect them. At this point, we don't know what that is, so we're going to check the box here. When we do, we just simply come in and fill that in on the reservation. You can see the dollar amount of the total package and their deposit amount that's listed here. Payments get routed right into this reservation specifically. Don't forget to read and understand all of these lovely terms and conditions. Check the box and complete the booking. So what it will do is put the package together just like any other package that you would build outside of the group's dashboard. Now, a really cool thing to see is our payment request button is up at the top, and the price match will appear on contracted groups, but price match isn't valid with contracted groups. So don't build a contracted groups reservation and then request a price match, because you've already agreed to the pricing through the contract and the dollar amounts that were on it. Okay, so just know that that's going to be there, but don't utilize the price match button. All right, so we can see our reservation number and all the details of it. Payment amount, we can add that right in here as well. Okay, so say now we want to go back to the dashboard to look at everything that's been going on and make sure we are up to date on everything. We can simply click on groups, enter the group ID, and then wait for the dashboard to load in. Or, since we're within a reservation that was built in the dashboard, you can see over on the right-hand side, the group name appears. So we click on that group name, and it will jump us back into the dashboard through just one step instead of several. Okay, so now we'll scroll down a little bit. We can see that reservation we just created. Again, that payment request link is right there as well. We can see how it's affected our inventory. So there's some rooms out of each category sold. Our commission amount, it'll show all 3 active reservations, the total amount thus far. And then payment transfers, it'll appear in here as well. So that's how simple it is. Once you have gotten to the point where the dashboard is created and activated for you, a lot of the hard work is finished, and now it's just building reservations for clients as they come to you and want to participate in that particular group. So I'm going to take a moment here and pause, and if anybody has any questions, please feel free to shoot them over in the chat for me. Alright, I'm not getting any questions, so I'm going to wrap things up. Again, the recording should be made available by Shelly, whether it's going to be on your intranet site or if she's going to pass it out as an email blast or whatever. But I'll get this recording over to her with the link so that she can send that out to everybody else. And I do appreciate everybody joining me, and hope you have a great day.